The Purple Amethyst channel invites you to listen to the audiobook of Cordian Moscala's novella, Lemon, read by Cordian V. Moscala. To my children, as the fruit of manifestation and fulfillment of dreams. From the author. Dear listener, thank you for choosing this novel. I would like you to be able to find your path of inspiration for writing letters and poems after listening to this short story. This may one day be your private treasure, just as the poem written by the hero of this novel in honor of his joy became a treasure. Let the short novel, but I hope still with a message, be a window for you to find beauty in everyday life, turning points, or maybe new paths that you don't know yet, but which I write in front of you. Enjoy listening. Cordian V. Moscala. Chapter 1. White Clouds. January 17th, 2033. Sevilla. Peter was sitting by the fireplace, staring at the lemon tree bush that he had been growing from a seed for over 5 years in his rented apartment near the Universidad de Sevilla. Delighted with the smell and the specimen of the grown bush, he sat and looked at it as if enchanted. The bush was 2 meters high and had 7 branches, whose total span was only 1 meter. A small, playful tree stood at the entrance to the terrace, where it was exposed to the sun on warm days and kept inside in winter. Even though the winters in Sevilla are not even cold, the days are just colder. Peter kept a lemon tree bush in the living room every year as a kind of decoration, which for Christmas time, Michelle decorated it with Christmas decorations instead of the traditional Christmas tree. I'm absolutely delighted with how you have taken care of this bush over the years, said Michelle, entering the living room, returning from evening shopping. To be honest, you should know that this bush also delights me, said Peter proudly, getting up from the chair. I finally finished reading the book Lemon Bread with Poppy Seeds, which Antonio recently gave you as a gift. A beautiful read indeed, said Michelle, putting the book on the bookcase next to the piano. Just so you know, it was a beautiful gift from him and from his mother for the years of cooperation. I am very glad that we have such bonds, also outside of work, said Peter, hugging Michelle. It was late evening. Michelle had just returned from the doctor, where she found out about her pregnancy, but decided not to reveal the baby's gender until she organized a baby shower. She herself also didn't know the gender, as she asked doctor not to say. So, as not to arouse Peter's suspicions, she also came with a shopping bag, scented candles, and bottles of squeezed juices in various flavors. She only asked Peter to help her bring shopping bags. And when he left, she prepared a table in the bay window with glasses for juice and tapas. When Peter brought the shopping bags, Michelle was standing at the kitchen counter, where she was preparing tapas and a quick salad, which she sprinkled with lemon juice from their vine. As soon as she started squeezing the juice, the amazing smell of lemon wafted through the house. The scent was intense, yet sweet, with a slight note of freshness. One of those things I love about having our own lemon tree bush is the freshness and the smell that cannot be described in words, said Michelle, putting her hands to her nose and enjoying the smell of freshly squeezed lemon. That's why, when you were gone, I made a lemon tart for us, which is currently waiting for consumption in the fridge. Would you like to taste it? said Peter with an alluring voice, also smelling the scent of freshly squeezed lemon. "Come on, it will be perfect for dinner!" Michel shouted with enthusiasm and quickly mixed the salad, adding lemon juice. When Peter was cutting the lemon tart, which was covered with lots of roasted almond flakes, and the cake itself, apart from the filling, was also made with grated lemon peel, which only enhanced the intensity of the aroma. While cutting the tart, the knife itself was saturated with the smell, and it waved throughout the entire house. When Michelle brought all the tapas sets and freshly prepared salad to the table, she played a playlist of Ludovico Einaudi songs from the JBL speaker to create a romantic atmosphere. She started with the album Una Mattina. Due to the beauty of the combination of cello and piano in this album, Michelle decided to play one of Peter's favorite albums to tell him about her pregnancy. Sitting down at the table, Peter turned off the lights because Peter sensed that Michelle wanted to create a romantic atmosphere. I wanted tapas after a long day at work," Peter said dreamingly, slowly eating each bite. "Oh, I was hungry too," said Michelle while listening to the melody of the song Resta con me. "How was your day?" Peter asked, tasting the salad. Very good," said Michelle, also tasting the salad. "Very intensive shopping, because it turned out that I had to go to 2 different places to buy tapas sets, because it was quite empty after the weekend." It's true that not only was there a lot of food on New Year's Day, but now people are also slowly shopping for the carnival, said Peter, drinking pineapple juice. "Ah, well, of course, carnival is now," said Michel, actually forgetting that it was already the period of carnival before Lent. Of course. Still look at the dates from the perspective of China, and I was like, it's not the Chinese New Year period to buy food so much, she said, laughing at herself at the same time. These juices are also great, said Peter, this time drinking grape juice. A perfect composition of flavors with tapas and salad, he continued. I can't wait for this lemon tart. The whole house smells so much that it makes me salivate, and we are having dinner. And Michelle laughed uproariously. We compliment each other, my dear, Peter said proudly and kissed Michelle on the cheek. And add some lemon juice to the fritter you prepared according to Father Damian's recipe. This is awesome combination of flavors, said Michelle in an enchanted voice, tasting the fritter prepared by Peter with recipe by Father Damian Smoczyński. I didn't know that you would do so much shopping, honey, but it's perfect for tapas and also a salad. The salad was the recipe of Gaby, Peter's mother, from whom Michelle learned how to prepare a quick salad with arugula leaves, green salad leaves, pomegranate seeds, crushed 2 cloves of garlic mixed with the olive oil, and finally sprinkled with homemade lemon juice. The whole thing created a magic of taste, which was a quick and pleasant way to make a salad for lunch or dinner. Additionally, as an invention, Michelle roasted sunflower seeds and sprinkled it on the salad, thus adding a bit of fiber to the salad. When the song DNA began to play, Peter served the previously prepared lemon tart and waited for him and Michelle to take their first bite. This tart turned out great, said Michelle, full of delight. Oh yeah, brilliant, said Peter and waited for Michelle's reaction because he added some saffron to the tart mixture. Oh, saffron! Michelle shouted and her eyes widened, unable to admire the flavor notes. Boom, baby! Indeed! Enjoy! Peter said seductively and blew a kiss to Michelle. You really have a sense of humor, said Michel and laughed. "We've been together for so many years and I still can't stop admiring you." "Both of us, honey," said Peter after a moment of enjoying the taste of the tart. "See, I didn't ask how your day was," Michel said, as song Questa Volta started playing. "Oh, you see, honey, I even forgot to say anything myself because of course today is January 17th and today's date equals to number 17. And, be careful," said Peter, getting ready to tell Michel the good news. "At exactly 5:17 p.m., I received an email from Paul from Krems about joining SID as representative for Austria. And as you know, Paul waited a long time with any answer because he had to finance his issues, and Hassan didn't push either because he was looking for other people. But you know how it is, Guanxi, and Hassan was betting on Paul. And after over a year of consideration, he agreed. Congratulations! Well, that's great because both Paul and Shitalong come from you contacts, so Guanxi is really tightening up a lot," said Michel proudly and with satisfaction. "I'm just waiting for answer from Hassan because now that he has a daughter, he has sleepless nights again," said Peter, smiling and looking at Michel. When the song Novella began to play, Peter and Michel slowly finished eating the first piece of tart. Michel looked at the clock. It was 8:20 p.m. She thought it would be perfect time to share the news about her pregnancy. Pretending that she was only going to the kitchen for a second portion of lemon tart, she went into the entrance hall to reach into her purse for a card with a positive pregnancy result. These cards were given as a receipt, with the date and time of issue, just like birth certificates are given. The receipt showed today's date, January 17th, 2033, also 5:17 p.m. While Nuvolo Bianche was still playing, Michel came to the table with a tart for both her and Peter. As she sat down, she saw Peter watching her, admiring her with glossy eyes. "You see, honey," Michel started when she was set down at the table, "I'll tell you that just like you, I have good news from 5:17 p.m. So I do." When she said this, she put an envelope on the table with a receipt in it, and the envelope was signed with the stamp of the local hospital. "What is it?" Peter asked curiously. "Honey," Michel started to say, looking deeply into Peter's eyes, "not only did you do a good job for Sid today, but also for us. We also did a beautiful job," Michel said awkwardly, not quite knowing how to start saying the good news. "What do you mean exactly?" Peter asked, slightly confused, and looked at the envelope. "You will be a father," Michel announced when Peter took out the receipt from the envelope, and at that moment the song Nuvole Bianche finished to play. When Peter saw the receipt with the date and time, his eyes watered. After a while, he moved closer to Michel and hugged her, crying with happiness with her. After a moment of cuddling, Peter asked about the gender, but Michel said that she would reveal it only during the baby shower, because she wanted to keep the secret to herself without asking the doctor about the gender, because there was such an option. Peter, since he and Michel had been expecting a baby for the past 3 years, thought he would wait a few months as well. He only looked at the receipt and saw the expected date of delivery, May 17th. When he calmed down after a while, he suggested to Michel that he play Nuvole Bianche on the piano during the second portion of the tart, in honor of learning the good news about becoming a father. Chapter 2. Lemon. It was May 16th, late evening. Peter took Michel to the hospital to stay overnight in case the baby was born. They rented a private room so that if the birth took place, the baby could be born according to the ceremony of Dr. Eva Przybyla, who always recommended that the child be born in silence, in a dark but warm room, lit only by candlelight and with soft classical music played, and that the umbilical cord should not be cut until it stopped pulsating. Both he and Michel took this advice deeply to heart, focusing on their children's happiness and good development from the very beginning. Peter saw that the children could also be exposed to classical and neoclassical music from an early age, played music in the evenings throughout the pregnancy, sometimes from speakers, sometimes from headphones. When Michel was in a more advanced stage of pregnancy, sometimes by playing the piano himself. Since it was relatively close to the hospital, he allowed himself to return home and stay awake if at any time he received the text message from Michel or the midwife about the start of labor. After arriving home, he quickly set about preparing the lemon tart so that it would be ready as a surprise for Michel when she returned home. After preparing and cooling the cake, he put a whole thing in the fridge. It was midnight. Sitting at the piano, he played his own pieces and those by Ludovica Einaudi, and played 7 pieces sequentially. 2 trees, bamboos, experience, Quailin, DNA, night thoughts, Nuvole Bianche. When he finished playing Nuvole Bianche, wanting to play some other songs, he suddenly received a message to write a letter to his soon-to-be-born son. Without thinking any longer, he got up from the piano, turned on the JBL speaker, and played the album in a time-lapse, quietly in the background to accompany him while writing. He looked at the lemon tree bush that he had put outside again on the first day of spring. The bush was covered with huge bunches of lemon, which also smelled intensively in the bay window and at the entrance to the terrace, even though the terrace door was closed. It was one of the longest nights for Peter, because although sometimes developing his activities as psychotherapist on YouTube, Dichoff investment as a tour guide and partner in SEED, and other ventures he undertook as a young entrepreneur, rather, he slept every night without breaking a sweat. On the one hand, it was an unusual situation for Peter not to sleep for 24 hours. On the other hand, he had been writing letters to his future children for so many years, and when the time came to give birth, he couldn't wait for the first live meeting with his son, with Johnny, whom, according to what he and Michel agreed to name after King John III Sobieski, an ancestor on Peter's mother's line. While sitting and listening to the song Discovery at Night, constantly looking at the lemon bush, he thought of writing one last letter, a welcome one, inspired by the lemon he saw outside. Looking outside the window, he saw Jupiter rising above the horizon. He also looked at the clock hanging in the kitchen. It was 5:20 a.m. He thought that in 2 hours it would be sunrise, that he would make Turkish coffee, squeeze lemon juice, and make lemonade. There was already a lemon tart waiting in the fridge to welcome Michel and Johnny, for which Peter had prepared, because Gaby, Peter's mother, and Michaela, Peter's sister, also came among the guests to welcome Johnny and Michel. They stayed overnight at a nearby hotel to surprise Michel's arrival. Peter, amazed at how quickly the night passed, and that, fortunately, there was no phone call, he decided to sit at the table in the bay window to write a letter there. Inspired by the sight of a lemon bush, he thought, maybe I'll write a lemon greeting. He thought, for a moment, that lemon was sour, and maybe it wasn't the best idea to welcome the first child into the world, but he also immediately thought about the lemon through the prism of the Order of the Smile, where, to receive the order, participants had to drink a glass of fresh lemon juice with a smile, in honor of the hardships and toil that children and their families, with illness, among the others, go through. Sitting there for a moment, he wondered how to even write this letter. He thought he would write it in the form of a poem. Focusing for a moment on how to start this letter, this poem, he reached for the pen and the paper he had prepared. He reached for a sip of coffee and sip of lemonade. Sitting for a moment, he thought about picking a lemon from the bush and putting it on the table. As he thought, so he did. Going out onto the terrace, he felt a nice, pleasant, warm breeze. Mars gleamed in the still night sky, Arcturus nearby, and in the east he could see Jupiter. Breathing in the fresh air and feeling the light breeze, he took 3 deep breaths, and he picked one lemon and quickly went back inside. He quickly checked his phone to see if anyone had called from the hospital. Nobody. It was 5:45 a.m. when Peter put the lemon on the table and took a pen in his hand. Sitting down, he placed a lemon on his forehead for a moment and concentrated on how to write a letter. When he put down the lemon, he quickly grabbed his pen and started writing. Lemon greetings. Hail, O golden lemon, fruit of race, you are a symbol of life. In your drops there's a solace. Your skin is smooth and shiny, and there's sweetness in your heart, like the love of a father who gives it so much to his son. Welcome, O son, to the world, full of colors and shadows. You, who are the 70th number, are already blessed. Your fate is as bright as the sun in its lemon peel. Let it shine in your heart, like the glow on a day full of clouds. Let a drop of laughter flow sweetly into the heart, like lemon juice, which adds flavor to life. Let joy flow with you, every moment, every day, like a lemon that quickly turns bitterness into joy. Oh, my son, John, let fate lead you into the world, among the sun, fruit, among dreams and years. May your days be like lemons, sure, and a heart full of love for mother and father and loved ones, and may it never fade away. Welcome, son, to a life full of flavors. You are already our pride, fruit among flowers. When Peter finished writing the poem, he sprinkled its edges with drops of lemon, which he cut in half, and at the very top of the paper he made the sign of the cross, thus blessing the letter. It was 6:35 a.m. when he finished anointing the letter with drops of lemon juice. At that moment, a song experience stopped and Underwood started playing. Looking at the phone, he saw that no one was calling, and, to take advantage of the fact that he was on alert, he went out to the terrace with the phone to watch the rising sun and to be able to answer the phone at any time and quickly come to the hospital for the delivery. It was 7:13 a.m., just as the sun was rising. Some time ago, when the songs from the album In a Time-Lapse ended, Peter played the song Berlin Song from the album Nightbook on a loop and greeted the sun in this atmosphere. When the first rays of sunlight fell on Sevilla, the chorus of Berlin Song began to play, and Peter, dreamily, stared at the sun rays falling on his eyes, and his eyes glazed over with tears. Peter thought of directing his thoughts to Jesus, with whom he was in communication as a medium. And these were his words: "O Jesus, O Lord Jesus, thank you for allowing me to have offspring, a son. Thank you for the gift of fatherhood and blessing you have given us. Support me, O Master, to be the best possible father to Johnny, as well as the other future children. Support us with Michelle in care and development so that children can get the best from us and from life as they can. I praise you, my Master, my Lord, my friend, that now I am waiting for the hour when I will hear the phone call." At this point, Peter's thoughts were interrupted, and he thought that he could go to the hospital now and wait there for someone to come. It was 7:45 a.m. when he got into the car, and a little after 8 when he entered the hospital. It turned out that Michelle was on duty and that the midwife forgot to call. It was 8:29 a.m. when John was born, just like Dr. Eva Przybyla recommended, so he came in beautiful circumstances, in candlelight, in silence with light music playing in the background. He was playing Nocturne Opus 9, number 2, in E-flat major, by Chopin, when Johnny was born. At 10 o'clock with the piece, Peter, after signing the birth certificate, entered the room where Michelle and Johnny were. Michelle, tired after giving birth, but happy to see Johnny and Peter, smiled at the sight of Peter entering and to the melody of Nocturne, played on a loop. Till this time, she greeted Peter, and despite being tired after a sleepless night and after the delivery, she seemed rested, calm, and welcomed Peter with the words, "Hi, Daddy, meet our son, John." Peter was delighted with this sight and asked the midwife if she would take a souvenir photo of them and record a welcome video for the vlog. The midwife complied with the request of Peter, and after washing his hand to greet his son with the clean hands, approached the bed where Michelle and Johnny were, lying, and taking Johnny in his hands, he looked at him. "Hello, my lemon, my sweetheart. Hello, sweetness. You are mine. Hello, son," said Peter, hugging Johnny gently. After a while, the midwife came into the room and asked if it was possible to gently open the window curtains so that the baby could also be greeted by the sun's rays. Michelle and Peter agreed. When the midwife opened the windows, Peter saw a painting on the wall showing 2 lemons placed on the table, accompanied by twigs and leaves of a lemon bush. At this point, Nocturne was ending, and so that Johnny could now rest in complete silence with Michelle and Peter, Peter turned off the music, extinguished the candles outside the room, and returned to the room, laying down on the delivery bed next to Michelle and Johnny. It was 11:11 a.m. at that moment. Thank you for listening to the audiobook of the novella Lemon. This novella is a link between the stories of novella The Salt Lamp and Rocky Dragon from CAOLU. At the same time, it doesn't belong to the European Sage series, being a pre-debut invitation to the world of the European Sage. We invite you to purchase a physical book of the novella Lemon and to support Cordia Muscala's collection of donations for the debut with the novellas The Salt Lamp and Rocky Dragon from CAOLU, thanks to which the author will be able to cover the first costs of publishing and distributing the books. The link to the donation collection is in the description.